Hello, class. Thank you, Dr. Napier, for having me today. My name is Dorothy, Dr. Dorothy Suku. I have a pleasure to share with you the impact of pharmaceutical drug costs to the public health. Just to share a little bit about my pharmacy career journey, I have had a privilege to practice pharmacy for about 20 years, serving as a community pharmacist in primarily low-income areas. 2 years ago, I decided to go back to school and pursue an MPH degree, hoping to move into public health and perhaps become a part of the solution to our community's healthcare problems. Just to give you a summary of what I do on a daily basis as a retail pharmacist, the usual job we do as community pharmacists is to educate patients on medication dosage, drug interactions, how to use self-monitoring devices, disease management, and side effects of prescription and over-the-counter medications. We also interacted with the public and other healthcare providers to ensure medication safety and help patients get drugs at reasonable prices by suggesting generic drugs and seeking approval for insurance companies and medical providers. Having said that, it is an honor to share a piece of my personal experience in this broad and one of the most essential industries in the healthcare system, especially here in the United States. You will notice that what I am going to share is based here in the United States because although I am from Africa, I did all my pharmacy school here in the US and all my work experience here. I just wanted to give you a brief understanding of the patents of brand names and generic drugs and why the costs of drugs vary. Not all drugs have patents, but most do. What is a patent? A patent is a protection awarded to a pharmaceutical company to manufacture, market, and profit from a new drug. Other pharmaceutical companies may develop generic drugs after the patent expires. The complexity of drug discovery and the development and length of regulatory procedures determines the prices of the drugs. Also, the lifetime of the patent varies between countries and also between drugs. The term of a new patent is about 20 years in the United States. In order for a generic drug to qualify as a drug, as a generic, it must be identical to the branded drug in terms of efficacy, safety, usage, route of drug administration, pharmacokinetics, which is how the drug interacts with the body, and pharmacodynamics, the effects of the drug on the body. Therefore, a drug can be manufactured as a generic drug when either its patent expired or there has never been any patent on the drug before, or the drug is manufactured in countries where the drug has no patent protection. Also, when the company that would manufacture the generic drug certifies that the patent held on the drug are either unforeseeable, are invalid, or will not be infringed upon. Generic drugs tend to cost less than their brand name counterparts because generic drug applicants do not have to repeat animal and clinical human studies that were required of the brand name drugs to demonstrate safety and effectiveness. The pharmaceutical industry can have a massive impact on individual and population health, both negatively and positively due to its complexity. This industry can be very complex. It comprises several sectors that play roles in determining the prices of pharmaceutical products. It involves heavy state and federal regulations, competing interests of the pharmaceutical businesses, in insurance companies, retail, consumers, stakeholders, and so forth, and also the originators of the drug itself. To put things in perspective, I choose to share one of the critical health conditions that affect many here in the United States and have a significant impact on public health. In retail pharmacy, diabetes medications are the most number of prescriptions we fill on a daily basis. Therefore, we witness some of the struggles these patients face regarding insulin price changes due to insurance formulary restrictions of brand versus generic drugs. This cohort study, which consisted of 22 countries, showed a global perspective on the affordability and the availability of essential medicines for diabetes, such as insulin. The study shows that 37% of the household with diabetes were unable to afford insulin. Of those, 3% were in high-income countries and 63% were in low-income countries. It was also found that the United States has the highest manufacturer prices among the 33 nations of similar economies. And the long-acting insulin, which is insulin glargine, was the second leading drug in cost of about $9.34 billion. What I have seen in that is that most of the diabetic patients who are not able to afford the treatments due to either lack of insurance or high out-of-pocket costs tend to have poor adherence to their medications, which leads to frequent emergency room visits or extended hospital stays. They also happen to suffer from diabetes complications such as loss of eyesight, nerve damages, amputations, kidney failure, and even premature death. According to the American Diabetes Association 2023 report, the annual cost of diabetes in the United States was about $412.9 billion. Also, people who were diagnosed with diabetes account for 1 of every 4 healthcare dollars spent in the US. From 2017 to 2022, the cost of insulin increased by 24%. Unfortunately, the elderly population, which is 65 years and older, tends to spend almost double on per capita annual healthcare expenditure. Now, because of complications from non-treatment adherence, creates a loss of productivity due to disability and premature death, which accounts for 26% of the national cost for diabetes. I hope I was able to give a brief overview of how the pharmaceutical industry operates here in the US and how the generic drug market can impact the population's health in national healthcare expenditures. I also hope that as public health advocates, we should be able to be part of the changes to some of the policies that contribute to drug costs, which creates more costs for the healthcare industry as well as the population. Thank you.